Hi there, it is Diecast channel, and in this video I'm going to show you this 1964 Ford Thunderbolt. I've shown a Ford Thunderbolt before, made by Precision, and this one is made by ERTL Collectibles in a 1:18 scale. This car is a very interesting factory muscle car of a time. It's considered a sort of a factory hot rod. So if you like those cars, stay tuned, because we are going to take a closer look at this car. So let's go on. Before we unbox this car, let's take a look at some features this model car has and the car had. Ford Thunderbolt was a Fairlane that was modified to be a lightweight car, and it was a factory dragster, let's say it, a factory hot rod. It was made in a way that it could be lightweight and at the same time very powerful. It had a 427 big block engine with 425 horsepower, which is really a monster engine. And the car at the same time had fiberglass front fenders, sometimes fiberglass doors, and fiberglass hood with this bubble that was a sort of a common bubble for high performance Fords at the time. There's even a Hot Wheels, a 1964 Ford Galaxy Custom, which has this sort of hood. So we're going to unbox this car and take a better look at it. So here we have the Fairlane Thunderbolt. It's basically a Fairlane. If we look at the car, we can see that it's basically a standard car, a stock Fairlane. But what differs it from the regular Fairlanes is that the Thunderbolt has this aluminum bumper and this bubble hood, which is basically different from the one we have in a regular Fairlane. Fairlane was like a compact Ford Galaxy at a time. The Galaxy, by the way, is very similar to the Fairlane since it was launched after it. And the color of this car is very attractive. It's a kind of a maroon or burgundy red or something like it, and with a golden top. So it's a different combination. The interior is gold as well. So it looks pretty much like a stock Fairlane. We just see it's got something different as we look at the hood, as we look at this bumper, which is not actually chrome but silver, different from the rear bumper, which is a regular bumper. And as we look at the wheels, that denounce that the front tires are thin and the rear tires are thick. That would be for higher performance. There is also this badge here. That's for the 427 engine. But in general, it's very well made. As we look at the front of the 1964 Thunderbolt, we can see it differs from a regular Fairlane because of a bumper that's made of aluminum, so it's much more like brushed aluminum than chrome. The front grille is basically the same one we have in a Fairlane, but with two tiny grills here instead of two headlights. These are for engine ventilation. We have a couple ducts that go from here to there, and we're going to see that when we open the hood and take a closer look at the 427 engine. We have no badges, no emblems, and the headlights are kept only on the outside ones, and they look perfect. They are very well made, very well reproduced. The bumper is pretty much correct, doesn't have any cast markings, nothing at all really. We have this couple hooks here that could be for hitching the car to maybe to trailers, to some device, and towing it to a place where you would be used in drag racing. That wouldn't be really a street car. This reproduces well what happens in the real car. You can see the bolts and the rivets and the clips. We're going to unclip so we can take a closer look at the engine. The windshield and the windshield wiper are pretty much correct, and there's only one windshield wiper since this is a high performance car. The bubble hood and a tack right here. I always use those pliers, those needle noses, to unclip these hoods. Since those clips are so tiny, they're very easy to be lost. I've unclipped the hood and opened it, and we can take a closer look at the 427 engine. That's a Ford Big Block. That's a very nice engine and a very high performance. And as we look at his engine bay, we can see a lot of realism. There are a couple of screens here. We can see they're actual screens, so they're not just plastic imitations that sometimes we find in some cheaper cars. And the engine bay has a lot of realism. It's very accurate. As we can see, the spark plug wires right here coming out of the distributor, the caution sign, the warning sign for the fan, and the front panel. And there's one more mesh here that's a radiator mesh. We can see it's an actual mesh. The ducts here that go to the air filter and the carburetor underneath, that's made in gold. We can see the intake manifold, it's made in blue, and a valve cover which is chrome. This engine is really sort of confined in this engine bay. The engine bay is quite small and the engine is huge. So it's a real high performance car. We can see all cables, wires, hoses, and all details that are supposed to be in here. The reservoir and the reservoir cap, it goes to the radiator. One more hose. The hinges with spring system. And a fiberglass hood, which is made with perfection. Those tiny meshes here are actual grills, so everything here is very accurate. And the hood shuts correctly. No gaps, no misalignments, no issues at all. Closer look at the clips. They fit perfect. As we can see, it looks like an actual car. So as we can see, the two screens in the hood, single windshield wipers, and interior, that's all made in red and gold. That looks very nice. Steering wheel, a 3-spoke steering wheel with a chrome trim, a horn trim. And the keys in the ignition and on the left of steering wheel look very nice. And TBolt is the only model I've seen with that so far. A closer look at the gauges and the keys. They're bouncing from the ignition. We can see all gauges made in very good decals and the tack on the top of the dashboard. There's a trim on the dashboard, but it's very simple. The 3 pedals, so it's a mechanical transmission. And the gear lever, and there's no central console, it's right there in the middle only. Closer look at the tack and the dashboard. It's a typical Fairlane dashboard with no radio. Steering wheel with a chrome trim, a horn trim. Pedals, floor mat, there's no carpet. This car is really simple. It's plain, really. No headliner, no dome light. The door panels and the inside panels are still very nice. Seats are simple but good. They tilt. There's a back seat and the door shuts correctly. This door is a little loose but still opening and closing correctly. The door handle and the lock are separate pieces. That was a trim. It's a very nice color, and the badge, that's the same one you have in the engine. Looks like the one in the T-Bird. There's one more badge, C-pillar, Fairlane rear with a trunk. We can see there's no spare tire, but there's a battery in the trunk. It's got this texture underneath the painting. And the hinges are good. The battery is very good. All details of trunk lock and gas cap. This should open, but I'm not going to force it open because I'm afraid to break it. Trunk lock, front floor, the battery, where the spare tire should be. Tail lights and the trim that are basically the same we find in the Fairlane 500. Ford logo, trunk lock, trim, and the bumper, which are perfect. Tail lights are very good. It's basically a Fairlane 500. Rear window with a very nice transparency. You can see the interior. And a bumper with a license plate 64 TBolt Fairlane 500 badge and 64 TBolt license plate. Rounded tail lights that look very nice. Passenger side. One more look at the interior. There's a lock in the door. Gear lever and the paddles. The dashboard without a radio. Seats. Tilt the other one too. Glove compartment. Dashboard is all made in gold. And glove compartment that opens. That's a very nice feature in those ERTL Authentics. Passenger door shuts correctly. Just snap them shut and they will stay very well aligned. So I put the first clip. The hood shuts correctly and is very well aligned. And just snapping the second one using the needle nose pliers, it snaps right away. So it really looks like the ones in a real car. The front looks fantastic. The bottom of a car looks pretty plain. The car is pretty plain, so it's a unibody, so we can see the structure, the engine and tranny, the drive shaft, the rear axle. It's drive shaft spins as we turn the rear wheels and the slick tires. Rear axle is painted. The suspension works. It's a little hard, but it works. The front suspension works as well, and it steers. And we have the engine, and there are no mufflers. We just have the exhaust manifolds, and they go right away. And the gas tank is very well made. There are no bolts and no fixed fastenings, no fixtures showing. It's pretty plain, but very well made. It's just plain because the car itself is plain. It's a very nice car. So from 0 to 10, I would give this car a 10, really. ERTL Authentics are very good cars, and Ford TBolt is a very interesting car. I like Fords, 60s Fords, such as Fairlanes and Galaxies. And the Fairlane is a nice car. The TBolt is a factory drag racing car, and it's worth seeing. It's worth having if you like muscle cars. So, I'd like to thank you for all likes and views, for all subscriptions to my channel. Please don't forget to subscribe, to leave me your like below, and also to let me know what you think about this car and about this video in your comments below. I thank you, and I see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.